Hello everyone and welcome to my newest video. You guys seem to enjoy to see what's happening behind the scenes, so this time I'm taking you with me on a trip to Africa to source the most beautiful agates with you. Hi guys, I am in the midst of some beautiful animals right here. But not only animals, but also we're just in the process of grading Swazi agates from Mozambique, and I have the help here of two workers who helped me do the pre-grading of all of the material. But in the last few days we've done a lot of progress. They already did a little bit of pre-grading before I got here, and you can see all of the bags here in the background. This is all the material that we graded to be not that good material, just because Swazi agate generally does not have a lot of strong banding. So a lot of it is just clear chalcedony in blue and red color, sometimes a little bit of purple as well, but most of the material does not show a lot of great banding. So Swazi agates require heavy grading to make it well or joyful material to cut, and to also make them cut great pieces. A lot of what is coming out directly from the mines is actually just small chips and not fully banded nodules. So what I'm doing here is doing a separation of the nodules in cuttable materials, both in material that is full-sized nodules, as well as nodules that are like half-sized complete, that will make it great cutting material. And this here in the background, these are all larger sized pieces that don't have any good banding. This is just the basic clear kind of chalcedony that most of the material actually has, and of the entire material there's probably just about a 10% rate of good stones, and those are right there where the cute little donkey, he's just 2 months old, is just waiting for us to get right now. So this is the finished selection that we have here. These are the smaller sized nodules that are almost entirely complete. Then here's some larger sized nodules, which are the cutting material. You can't really see the colors and pattern that well because they're all dried out in the heat right now. Then this is the jewelry material selection that has been done, and this is a batch of some of the largest, most beautiful Swazi agates I have ever seen in my life. So a lot of these nodules are complete, others show really fantastic banding and pattern with eyes wildly swung. Here you can see a little bit of red, but it will actually be a lot more beautiful if I made it wet. So I'll probably just take a quick second video to show you some of these pieces, to show you how incredible they can actually be. And this material will all be going to the gem shop in Cedarburg, Wisconsin, which are one of the biggest rock shops in the Northwest. So they will be shipping out all of this material once it gets to them. You can also check out my new website that I'm just in the process of setting up. It will be www.agatebayllc.com. And there will be an affiliation link together with the gem shop. So this material you can buy directly through my website or the gem shop's website, get like a forwarded link directly to their website where you can check out. But this way you would also support the last days of work that I put in here for grading this material, and I would very much appreciate if you used my link through the checkout and get some of these beautiful agates to cut for yourself. Mozambique is actually a pretty dangerous country to be in right now. I've been to Mozambique 3 times in my life so far, and I've always had some dangerous and unpleasant experiences, whether it being threatened directly for my life or just corrupt police officers at the border telling me there was something wrong with my visa or whatever. It's just been always not very joyful for me to get there, and on top of that there's currently a very difficult political situation after the elections. So it's just not safe to go there, and I don't want to risk my life over some agates anymore. So that's why this time I'm actually doing the grading of these stones here in South Africa. We just finished loading the second container today, and it's just about to get picked up. Fortunately, it's not as hot as it was in the past few days here, because loading a container is a pretty exhausting process. I had about 20-25 helpers that, you know, also helped me with the grading actually, but it's pretty difficult to teach people on what to look for when they have never cut any rough stones or processed any lapidary work. So the grading was not the best and not the way I actually wanted to have it always. So it was a lot of work for me to make sure that you get the best quality possible for your cuttings. And now there's only really just a few more bags left to be loaded into the container. And right behind here is the beautiful red car which I bought last year, working very consistently. It's not the newest one, but it does its job. And right behind it you can see the workshop that we built a couple of years ago, and we just already prepare a little bit for next year's shipment. And right there on top, when I designed the building, I wanted to have like a little balcony so I could take a lunch break. And I used to have a ladder that was going straight up there. I didn't use it that much this time because I was just too busy, and hiking up and down a couple meters always takes more energy, especially when it's too hot. So these are some of the bags that are already prepared for next year's shipment. Hello! And now we are going inside. So this is the workshop where we are cutting all of the stones. So while I was in Germany, a couple thousand agates have been cut meanwhile, and I was just sorting through a little bit to take some of the better stones with me to Germany to get polished. These are the saws that we are using with Highland Park lapidary. These are the trim saws, and we also have some polishing equipment that is not here at the moment, but I also want to get some of the polishing done here to create more jobs and have some more sustainable work here in Malawi. And I'll just take you to the other room over there. This is more like a storage room at the moment, where we're already preparing some material for later shipments. This is like the small little office. We had a lunch break here earlier, and this is the machines that we are using for the tumbling of the stones. If you don't have the necessary experience, you will run into some difficulties, and that also happened with the tumble stones. we just had them running too quickly, so the stones all got some bruising. So you can see they're all nice and shiny from the polishing process, but these white marks, those are actually from bruising when the stones are hitting each other too hard. And so we have to redo all of this, get it back into a rougher grinding powder. So I hope to get the bruising out of there, and then we have to redo the entire process with it. But that's kind of the projects we're working on here, right in the workshop. But there's some beautiful material that will be coming out in the future. Meanwhile, I've already been selling a lot of the tumbling rough as well to different markets actually. But it is some pretty cool looking stuff, and there is a lot of work going on here in Malawi. So I just wanted to give you a little insight. Unfortunately, I didn't take a ton of videos while we were doing the grading and the loading, just because I was too busy with other things. But believe me, it was a lot of work. And like I said, it was already the second container I shipped out here within a week. So that was a total of almost 90,000 pounds. And that does sound like a lot, and it is, but it also disappears quicker on the market than you may believe. And it's also all different kinds of material. It's not just from one location. Malawi hosts about 10 different locations for agates. Some produce better agates, some produce not quite as good agates. But with that, we were able to achieve this stunning amount of 90,000 pounds this time, which is quite crazy. I just arrived at one of the mining villages here, and I've done business with the chief here for I think probably 7 or 8 years. It's one of the best locations in the area that produces high quality agate, and the agates are actually just found outside of this village here. There are some areas where they are harvesting crops, and in those fields, in those eroded layers, is where they could find those agates. And this is the Alimaggio location, just so you get a little insight. But the mine here is almost running out of agates and has only produced a few hundred pounds of material this entire year. So the people who used to work here, they are also now expanding in the area, trying to find other locations that are miles away from here, and just brought some of the stones for me to look at and assess the quality. And I just want to show you a little bit of what they've been finding here. So this is the house of the chief, and these are the bags they've collected recently. And these are some of the larger sized nice pieces they have been finding. And this is just like an extension of the Alimaggio area. So these are some little bit larger sized nodules, but you can still see they have the similar kind of rough appearance with this brownish husk. But here you can see this one's from a different location, also looking beautiful, but you can see the husk looks different, the inside banding looks different, and all of these pieces are also from different locations. So I believe these two are found close to the actual 1970s mine, because they have this kind of orange layer here. But the entire area is rich in agates, and yeah, now it's just about finding out where exactly which stones are coming from and where we can intensify the mining for these. Hi guys, I'm just outside of the village area right now, together with the chief and a couple other people. And the entire area up to the horizon with the trees in the back has already been dug with agates. So it's all the surrounding fields here in this area, plus some areas in the village as well as here in the forest area behind it. So all of these areas have been dug in the surface close layers. Last year we did an effort of digging down a trench. We dug it down about 6 feet, and they dug another trench here by hand, just in order to try to follow where the layers could be going. But this specific area has not been producing a lot of material, so they stopped the effort into continuing to mine. But I was still able to find some little nodgies here. And if you think Alimaggio agates are small, then you should check out these Alimaggio baby agates. because yeah, when we actually get them from the miners here, then we don't really take any stones that are smaller than an inch in size, but some of the agates of course are also just a few millimeters inside. We just don't really want to work with the agates that are too small. Also, the rainy season is just about to begin soon, so they will be starting to grow crops in the top layers of the fields here. So during that period they're not mining for any agates anyways. But I mean, just look at the vegetation you can find here. Some of these plants, they're just so different from anything you see anywhere else in the world. And look at how beautiful purple the leaves of those little plants are. I mean, that's such an intense purple. That's pretty crazy. In most places, this host rock, as you can see here, just starts about a foot or 2 feet below the surface. And once, of course, you touch the host rock, then it will be much more difficult to extract the agates. Fortunately, the top layers of the host rock are still pretty brittle, but the deeper you get, of course, the tougher it is to get the stones out, and especially if you're just mining by hand, that makes it incredibly difficult. And here you can see just a couple of these balls of the host rock, but there are some concentrated areas actually where I parked the car, and just when it's raining it washes out these nodules like little balls. And you can see even here there's like almost every tiny little stone I'm picking up here, all of these are tiny little agate nodules. So of the little ones there is more than enough still here. Just the larger sized babies are having a tough time to be found. I'm just here in the meeting with the chief of the 1970s agates and the cute little dog is just passing by. But yeah, the 1970s agates have become very scarce because the location has been mined for the longest time, hence the name of the location as well. And the layer where the agates are found is just reaching very deep down now. So it's a lot of effort to actually get these agates, and of course not every stone looks as good as this one. There's also a lot of stones that only have quartz or chalcedony, or yeah, just not this exciting orange agate like the one piece has, this one here. And we'll also just go to check out the place in the village where I used to mine. I think it was 3 years ago possibly, and we would just want to check out what it looks like there at the moment. And that's also the area where they're finding still some of these agates from those pits that we dug with the excavator. I am just at the airport in Blantyre, getting ready to board the plane again back to Germany. I had a great time here, but I didn't really do anything besides work. It was really just sorting through the rocks, getting everything organized and loading the containers. And yeah, other than that, it was just no time to do anything. Usually I try to travel at least 1 or 2 days as well, just for pleasure and do some hikes or something. But this time it was really just work and petting dogs. Yeah, there's a couple things that are not working quite the same here in Malawi as they are in Germany or in the US. Fuel is at times very scarce. So there's sometimes lines of maybe 200 cars that are just waiting to get fuel because there's a shortage of that here in Malawi, and people are waiting for hours or days to actually be able to get fuel to get from one place to the other. Another instance, for example, was that we bought some of the bulk big bags to load the containers, 1 ton for each bag, and we got a quotation from the bag supplying company that are actually providing those bags, and they were about $10 per bag, which is a perfectly fine price. But then it's a big company, and then like a few days later they told us that there's like a shortage of bags, and we were ready to order some more of them. They said they will cancel our entire quotation if we are not willing to pay almost double the price. I mean, those are established companies, but things just don't work the same ways. Like, things change randomly out of the nowhere. It's just difficult to plan things when things are just changing frequently. And also time is not as much of importance here. So, if you say you're going to meet up one day, it could just be next week or a couple days later. Or if you say you're going to meet at 1 o'clock, it might as well just be 5 o'clock. On the other hand, Malawi is very well organized in some sort of way, and also really digitalized their processes. For example, for electricity or anything, you can just pay everything through your phone now. So I think in some sort of ways they're even advanced to what you have in Germany. The entire mining for the agates here in Malawi is working a specific kind of way. So most of the time we're not directly doing business with the miners or paying them directly. So it's usually entire villages that are working together, and they mine the stones by themselves, but all of the material gets collected by the chief of the area, which is like the mayor of each of these villages. And the miners, they're not allowed to do business on their own, so they all have to work together with those chiefs. So the chiefs collect all of the material from the miners for us, and then we just go from area to area to collect those stones in agreement from the chiefs. So with all of them we have established friendly relationships over the past I think 8 years it has been that I've been active in Malawi mining these stones now. So they all know me pretty well and are always happy to see me. Then when we collect the stones, we have this building on the compound. That's where we're collecting all of the rough stones, and then we also want to get into starting processing all of these. And sometimes we're also sending our own individual miners into those mining regions to help with the mining and push it a little bit forward. Unfortunately, for 2 of the locations that I've been mining extensively in the last years, the 1970s location and the Alimajo location, they both almost stopped production just because everything that's in somewhat of a reachable layer has been extracted. So in order to get more stones, it's just a lot more work to get to those stones. And if they're not accordingly rising in prices over the next maybe decade, then at this point it doesn't make much sense to continue mining it, unless we start mining with heavy equipment where you can really dig many feet down. But of course that's a lot more money involved in the mining process to rent an excavator or to buy one. So at this point we have just not gotten to the point. On that note, we last year discovered a new location that we haven't named yet, and it looks very promising in terms of the colors, very similar to the Alimajo location. Some of the nodules are a little bit larger, but I also see a lot of nice yellow, red, orange, white, pink, purple. So it really resembles that location, but is more than probably about almost 10 miles away from each other. So really interesting to see that same resemblance from localities that are actually quite far away. I had a really great time, and I just got maybe 20 mangoes that I'm going to bring to Germany. And for everything that you're taking out of the country here, you have to have a proper export permit or license to do that. So for any kind of rocks that I'm taking, I need like a geological report to do that. And for the mangoes I'm taking now, I also have to have like a agricultural export permission to take them with me.